How are you doing today, beautiful people? We give all honor to life for bringing us together today and always. The aspect of Ifa Ela that we're going to be teaching one another today is the continuation of what is Ifa Ela. Ifa Ela is a direct writing from God. Ifa Ela is the law that teaches us how to commune and live among one another in the matters that God has written. For this week, the clarity that we're going to be receiving as to the purpose of Ifa Ela in our lives, we're going to be connecting to song. Song-I people. Song-I people are the direct lineage of Ifa Ela from the onset, from the beginning of life. Oro Ifa Ela people, Oro Ifa Ela people that we today call Yoruba. It is this people that spread all over Africa, all over the world, and the evidence of Ifa Ela being the beginning of life is heavily registered in Kemet, and the presence of their structure is Ayamarket and Mia. It's so amazing that the clarity of Ifa Ela in Mia as the extension of our ancestors is that Mia is directly linked to the sun, and it's Mia that we today translated into what we call pyramid. At the daybreak and the moonlight and the sunset, and it continues all around and straight part every day. That is the meaning of Ifa Ela that we are connecting with today. Now, the ancestors that we're going to honor today and celebrate are Whitney Houston, Bob Marley, and Dr. Sebi for their contributions to life that is still with us today. And those that have been given the talent, the duty, and the responsibility, as every one of us are, that we're going to be celebrating today in Ifa Ela Ministry are Monica, Rihanna, Brandy, and Chris Brown. The warning of the week is that we need to ask ourselves that first of all, let's look at this scenario. If you're someone who has ever been touched by the sun, you've walked on the face of the earth, you've actually drank water or bathed with water, if you've ever sat under a tree to feel the beautiful breeze of the day, then you qualify to think of yourself as a God. Now, the question that we need to ask ourselves is, are you a God that is loyal to the general God that is in us, all around us in straight path? Or are you a God that is disloyal? Now, that is something that every one of us needs to go away with and ask ourselves in our own time. The warning of the week is directly linked to the instruction of the week. The instruction of the week today is that we need to clean our brain box. Our brain box is our head. When we're sane, we're able to focus, and our mind and our body and our heart cannot be corrupted. Ordinarily, no one have access to our heart, our mind, and our body. But the thing is, when our head, our brain is being disrupted or distorted, one might end up thinking or beginning to think of oneself in a manner that's not really who you are. So when your brain is clean, it is impossible for your heart or your mind or your body to be corrupted. This is the reason Ifa Ela Universe is instructing us to begin the exercise of renewal, and the first place to start is our brain. That's the brain box, our head. Now, the first thing we need to look at is I'm very much aware that things that I'm going to say, you might not like to agree with it, but I'm only asking you to think about it, reason with it, and consider it before you discard it. Because I'm only speaking forth in the way that I know in my heart. The universe is instructing me for us to teach one another. So the first thing is you need to do, or to look at, to say to yourself, is that there's no sin in my house. Your house, the first house you ever have that you didn't have to pay for, is your body, from your head to your feet. That's your number one property. That's your house. As a result of that, you can't harbor sin in your house. So you need to say to yourself, there is no sin in my house. No corrupt object in my house. I am free. I am elevated from sin. Then the second thing you say to yourself is that think closely, list everything that you've ever done to displease or hurt someone. This is where you have to say to yourself, this is where you need to ask yourself again, so that you'll be able to correct all of that action and you move away from that way of life. Now you say to yourself, have you been loyal to the way of God that we all know in our heart is the path that we need to follow? If you have not been a loyal God, then it is okay for you to start today. Then the next step would be forgive yourself. Forgive and forgive yourself. Then you enter into a renewal space. Now, life itself will begin to guide your path, because yours is to know that you need to renew, and then you have to make renewal your lifestyle. A daily refreshment, a daily reminder. Renewal is a lifestyle. It's not a case of, I have rewind and I've reviewed my ways and I've renewed and I'm okay now. I don't need to, be that way now anymore. Tomorrow I'll be a different person. I'll do what I like. I'll do it differently. No, a renewal is a lifestyle. Ifa Ela is a way of life. It's bigger than any religion. If there's any religion at all, life did not start as a rely and enjoy a group of people, side in society, or some person. It's rather a way of life that helps us to be our overflowing self. That's Ifa Ela. On that note, the next step, which today is the final renewal step that we're going to discuss about, I'm very much aware that is the part that most people don't like to discuss, but it's highly, highly important. It's about sex. Being engaged in sexual activities that is not instructed from heaven is a key aspect of life that easily corrupts a person's mind. So when you're able to engage yourself in a clean, I'll call it a clean sexual life, definitely your mind, your body, your heart, every aspect of you inside out, all around you, straight path will remain clean. It's not impossible for a person to be a celibate when you're not married. The beautiful things about renewal is that when you renew and you make it your lifestyle, it may be difficult, may even seem impossible, but your duty is to know the needs that you need to renew, and then you give it to life, give it to Ifa Ela to give you the strength to be able to be on a straight path with God. And you become celibate. You can see clearly. You can see your own face, your own picture, who you are inside. And there's more to that than I can explain to anyone right now. But it helps you to know who you are in God, and it helps you to know the God that is in you. So when you renew and it becomes your way of life, you're able to know yourself better to the point that it's almost impossible to not know the person that universe has designed for you to spend the rest of your life together. But unless you do the renewal, you might end up living with what I call a remote control life partner. It's man-made life partner. It's man-made sexual partner. It won't be from heaven. So it's a way of, I can get me a wife or a husband or stuff like that. A lot of the time, it's a man-made because you've taken that decision from I can, from might, and God will just say, yeah, go ahead. If you can do it, go and get yourself a sexual partner or a wife or a husband. But when you say, God, I renew, is you that know where my life partner is in the four corners of the universe. Connect us. You give it to Ifa Ela, give it to the universe, because only universe know the one that is you, because no one come to this planet as one. We're two that makes one heart. That two heart that beats as one. Yeah. So yes, and to connect again to are you a loyal God to the overseer God, or are you a disloyal God? I would say in that aspect of things that it is not enough for us to say, let there be light. Rather, it is enough to say to ourselves that let each and every one of us stand in our light, because Ifa Ela is light, and light is a person's life. So no one is being given the right. Law of life does not agree to anyone transgressing on somebody else's light or on somebody else's life. So for me, I'll say, and it's a beautiful thing for any one of us to be able to say to oneself, when you're in presence of God, or when you're in presence, that's you being the presence of God. So it's a necessary praise or honor to life that you must say to yourself, I stand in my light, and my light stand in me. So it is enough. It's the instruction of the universe that each and every one of us should stand in our lights, because everyone have their own it factor. The it factor is a person's Ela, is a person's light. A person's light is a person's life. So I say to myself, I stand in my light stand in me. You should say, same to yourself every day. And I have clarity in my heart that universe will connect each and every one of us to our life partner. We shouldn't have to be living our life with a remote control partner that's just going to continue to make our path not straight enough to be able to get to our destination, to continue to praise and honor life. Because when you praise and you honor life, definitely life will praise you and honor you. Ifa Ela share. And today, I personally would like to celebrate and honor Eru, Iron Arquette, Mia, which is what we'll call, like I said earlier, pyramid today. And also, I would like to celebrate and honor Opa Romeo all over the planet. Ifa Ela share. And I have clarity that Ifa Ela will keep us beyond next week. Have a beautiful one all the time. Ifa.